Hey guys, it's Stadium He-Man Paintball, bringing you the first installment of the Budget Balling series. First video, breaking down your costs. Okay, so let's say you play kind of once a week at a field. What would your cost be? I kind of crunched numbers for you. Okay, first of all, $20 field entry. That's kind of the average. $10 and $10 for a rental. Same thing. I'm going off average here, and we say pay $50 to $5 a case. And then after you go out for supper, kind of $10 on food, fast food joint. Okay, so your day kind of works out to $95. Now I know a lot of people are gonna be, oh, I don't shoot a whole case in a day. I don't shoot like 500. Okay, crunch more numbers. Kind of $59 for if you only shoot $500. And if you have equipment owners, it's kind of $49 if you're an equipment owner and you shoot only 500 rounds a day. Now to me, that is still a lot of money. To every budget baller out there, it's still a lot of money to be blowing in one day. Okay, so then we just go to the alternative. A lot of people are like, well, I'll just play outlaw ball. Then we can cut out a lot of those costs. This is true now, but now you have to pay for gas, and that's kind of $5 per fill. If you're only shooting 500 balls, that should almost get you through it on most markers. So kind of $5 a fill. You go to the store, you can buy the cheap paint. Not really cheap. You can get paint like Spectrum and Stinger for kind of like $40 case. It's not like top of the line paint, but it's pretty good. You get $40 a case. Food, say, because one of your friends probably on the field. Say you go to a buddy's house for supper. Kind of swap persons every weekend. So we'll say food is free and entry is free as long as you go to a outlaw ball field because they don't charge anything. So that is $45 if you shoot a whole case by yourself. And guess what? If you only shoot 500 rounds and your equipment owner and everything else, $15. Not even kidding, $15 for a whole day of paintball, which is pretty amazing. A lot of people are like, oh, we're going to run out of gas. Most marks, if you have a full bottle, like a 20-ounce CO2 or a 60F45, that's going to get you through the day. So, yeah. And if you only shoot 500, this is something I used to do with my friends, is there's kind of 4 of us in my area, and in every case there's kind of 4 bags of 500. So what we would do is we just buy one $40 case, everybody put in $10. If there's any change, the guy went in to get them, kind of kept the change to himself because he did it, and we just split it up. Each guy got his bag of 500, and any leftovers he's happy just throw in your backpack. And I don't know, like once a month you might have enough paint just to go off leftovers all day, and then your cost get even further reduced down to like $5 a day. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, but then you gotta make a field, and you gotta buy equipment and all this other crap. A lot of guys, you already own your own equipment. Face it. Or as far as field, I'll go over that in another episode. Oh yeah, teach you how to make your awesome own field to yourself, and it's gonna be cheap, if not almost free. But then there's also a lot of guys who live in big cities and they don't have a spot to play outlaw ball in, and if they do, it's like quite a ways away, and with gas prices these days, it's not like practical. So for them, I would highly recommend you get a membership, because a lot of fields have them. Kind of run, I don't know, $150 for a membership, and with memberships you don't have to pay entry. If you still want to rent, you get a big reduction on rentals, and a lot of other things. Like some fields, they'll give you a reduction in their store, they'll give you a reduction on paint. Just get a rental if you're going to be playing in the field for a long time. Like I did the math. For say $20 entry once a week for 4 months, that'll run you kind of $320. With a membership, it's $150, and you get free entry. So yeah, and also with memberships, you usually get free gas too. So if you still want to play outlaw ball on the side, your prices has been reduced to $10 for paint. So yeah. So your last cost, like let's see, we broke down field entry, we broke down paint, we broke down everything except food. We broke down food, but rental. I know there's a lot of people out there that are like, oh, it's cheaper to rent. Why would I buy a $200 setup, which is a cheap setup, when I could just rent for like $10? Well, here's the thing. say you rent once a week for 4 months at a field, kind of $10. That'll run you kind of $160. Now, a good setup, which would be better than, well, you still have the basic gun, basic tank, basic hopper. Well, you can even get an upgrade electro hopper for really cheap. Like, you can get an old Revy, but another episode. With a good mask, like a thermal mask, like better than what a rental setup would be. You can kind of get one for $220 if you really shop around. And everyone's like, oh, but that's more than this 4-month thing. Yeah, but if you play paintball for more than 1 year, if you play like more than 4 months or more than a year, it pays for itself. I hate talking to people like, oh, paintball's too expensive. I'll just rent for the rest of my life, and I'm like, oh, once a week all the time. Stupid. Like, yeah, I'm just not even gonna get into that. Oh yeah, and the final breakdown of it, for all you guys out there, so like, oh, Outlaw Ball's dumb, it's not fun, it's too, some people even go as far to say, oh, it's too expensive. Okay, here it is. Okay, 4 months at a field for equipment owners and only shoot 500 rounds. 800-ish bucks. Okay, Outlaw Ball, 4 months, equipment owners, 500 rounds every time, once a week. $240. Yeah, just a little over a quarter. So, just consider this, guys. And everyone's like, oh, there's not enough people. Get people into it. Like, yeah, okay, so that's just breaking down your costs. You gotta think of these things. So, yeah. So, stay tuned for further episodes. I'll hopefully be putting up new stuff. But budget balling, making a good field, equipment.